The talk for today, my talk for today, and God's message to me as well, is the power of the spoken word. Proverbs 18, verse 21 tells us, death and life are in the power of the tongue. I have to say this again for myself. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Metaphysically, what makes the power of the word so important? It's because we are using the I am presence power. We are using I am that I am power when we speak a word into our life. And we speak so many words. Women speak about 25,000 words a day, and men speak about 15,000 words a day. Those are a lot of words. And so we are creating unconsciously. So, my hope today for myself and for you, my brothers and sisters, is that we will become conscious users of the power of the spoken word. So, I must look at my screen. I've written something. Every time you speak, you influence your world. You are either building it up or tearing it down. Our small green planet turns on its axis, and another day is born in our hemisphere. The land and the sea stretch out for the warmth of the rays of the sun, which have been waiting for their arrival. The sun's rays are utterly universal in their radiance. They beam out in all directions, flooding anything in their path, lighting up the entire outdoors. Light bulbs are the same way too. Their rays travel in all directions at once, indiscriminately lighting the whole area. Even a tiny match struck in the dark will send its flickering rays in all directions. So is it with conventional light. The only way to direct such randomly diffused light is with shades and mirrors and prisms. But even then, light particles still want to go out in all directions. That is why the most focused spotlight will still light up areas nearby, and light will spread out noticeably the further it extends from its source. Laser light is different, however. The light from a laser is called coherent light. Rather than scattering in all directions, the light particles are in phase with each other. They are all going in exactly the same direction. This increases their power enormously. Light from a coherent source is powerful enough to burn a hole through a piece of steel. No wonder lasers are so extensively used in industry. Laser can also be made tame enough to use in delicate surgeries, to reattach a retina to a human eye, for example.
You should French us?
You want me to get the
Could everyone be muted, please? Pardon me. Laser light is extraordinary, incredibly precise, because it is focused and it has powerful effects. The cutting edge of words. Words are the lasers of human thought. I will say it again. Words are the lasers of human thought. Rather than scattering in all directions, thoughts, when they are expressed as words, are in phase with each other. They are all going in the same direction, and this increases their power almost beyond belief. Words, in fact, are random thoughts which have been brought together to become coherent thought. Before we can speak the thoughts we have, they must be made into a more cohesive and more coherent. How many times have you heard someone say, or you've said yourself, I'm trying to get my thoughts together? In joining thoughts together, they take on additional power, like a laser, but with even greater potential, because our words can create or destroy. Our words can create or destroy. Words become flesh. It's true that thoughts are supreme as the molders of our world. Thoughts are initiatory to all changes. But something else happens when we put our thought into sentences, when we speak the word. It sets up a potent vibration in our bodies. Speaking and hearing and feeling our thoughts impresses them more fully on us than merely thinking them. Words move us into action. When we declare our thoughts, when we speak, every atom of our body responds to the sound of our voices. Not only do we hear what we say, we actually feel what we say. We feel what we say, negative, positive, or neutral. Every word, therefore, has an effect. The intensity of the effect depends on the intensity of the thought and feeling behind it and the way the word is spoken. An obvious and very basic example of this is the fact that soothing words create a release of soothing chemicals in the body. This is true not only for the speaker of the words, but also for the listener. Angry words, on the other hand, cause the release of harmful fight or flight chemicals, cortisol, adrenaline. Again, this happens not only to the person speaking the angry words, but to the one spoken to as well. It is proven, it is a proven and measurable scientific fact. I don't know if any of you remember the wonderful Japanese doctor who put the words on water, and the water created crystals. When when words were exposed to water, thank you in French created a different crystal than thank you in German or English or Italian. I hate you created these bulbous, very scary looking cells in crystals in water. Words have power. Still, without the scientific proof, we already know it's true because we know it's true in our lives. If you've ever spoken soothing words to a frightened child, or remember hearing such words spoken to you, you know the power of loving thoughts. Conversely, if you've ever spoken harshly or been spoken to harshly, you know the power of angry thoughts put into words. It is common knowledge that soothing words of love and encouragement to plants make them grow and feel better, and harsh, hateful words spoken in vengeance and vehement tend to make them wither. If our words have such an impact on plants, imagine the impact that they have on ourselves. Every word we speak is saturated with the energy that will either create or destroy. We are accountable for every idle word we speak, for it brings forth after its kind. In a very real way, the words become flesh and dwell among us, in us, as us. Our own words become flesh. They manifest and they dwell among us as manifestations, as creations, as experiences, as outcomes. We cannot help becoming what we say we are. The more resolutely and intensely we speak the word of who and what we are, the more surely we move towards becoming what we say. If we happen to accept that words that were directed to us by others, if we make those words our own, then we will move into that direction as well. So please don't give power. Don't give others the power to speak a word in your life. Like an old cart horse. There is no doubt that all words affect us, but it's our own words which affect us the most. Whether we make statements that kiddingly or seriously, our words have impact. The subconscious has no sense of humor. It doesn't know the difference between you jokingly referring to yourself as such a dope and actually thinking you're a dope. The subconscious is like an old cart horse, to which giddy up means get going. The horse doesn't know if that is being said kiddingly or seriously. All it knows is when it hears those words, it must obey. Words are mirrors. The words you use reflect your state of consciousness, but they're more than that. They are the very cause of maintaining that consciousness. So if you tell yourself, you've messed up again, you're really worthless, I can never get it right, you are not only affirming your present sense of worth, you are setting the parameters of your worth for the future. You are creating into the future. Today's words become tomorrow's reality. Today's words become tomorrow's reality. To constantly lament, for example, in the midst of an economic recession, I'm really worried about my money. I know I'm going to get laid off and lose everything, is to dwell on in lack and fear. Such words crystallize your negative thoughts. But even more than that, since you are a co creator with God, the words you speak direct the creative power of infinite mind. And my beloveds, this law, the power of the spoken word, the power of our thoughts and feelings, is working whether we are conscious of it or not. Every thought, every word is a prayer of fear or a prayer of faith, a prayer of good or a prayer of dis-ease, lack, doubt, depression. On and on it goes. God has no hands and or feet or vocal cords or eyes or ears, but you do. And you manipulate your physical world with these attributes. However, God works with you. Having given you free will, God is willing to carry out whatever plan you have for yourself. Therefore, you are a co-creator with God. You co-create your world by linking your mind with divine mind. That link comes through your words. Your words tell God, the ultimate creative intelligence, just what it is that you want. If you want prosperity and abundance in your world, speak only words of prosperity and abundance. If you want peace in your world, speak only words of peace. If you want love and health in your world, speak only words of love and health. The power of the laser is in its coherence. All of the light particles phase together and are traveling in exactly the same direction. This is not a denial of the fact that there is less than an abundance and peace and love in our world. We know that there are challenges in this plane. However, it's very important to declare to the universe through the power of your spoken word and to yourself what it is that you desire. Your words, your life. There is a wonderful story about a wise teacher of truth who was walking through the woods with his students when they came upon a partially decomposed carcass of a dead deer. The students, in an attempt to protect their teacher from seeing such a repulsive sight, tried to steer him around it, but the teacher would not alter his direction. When he came upon the deer, he looked over it carefully and said, "My, what beautiful antlers." He chose to see past the obvious and express the beautiful. He didn't dwell on the decomposed flesh, but rather on the noble antlers. So his words were not of repulsion, but of loveliness. We can do the same in our lives. Certainly, we can find enough ugliness around us if we care to look for it. But there is still also an abundance of beauty. Which do you want in your worlds, my beloved? The words you speak determine which it will be: life or death, joy or discord, dis-ease or health. My beloveds, use the power of your spoken word to create every good thing in your life, and it shall come to pass. This is what we know as New Thought Truth students, that every word we speak is a prayer, and nothing is good or bad, but thinking and speaking makes it so. Namaste. Thank you so much. Amen.